Yes, yes. Good afternoon, top of the sauce. You know the vibe. You're rocking out with yours truly, Showtime Sizzle. I am the sauce. This is a special sauce. It is going to be a saucy summer. But in this sauce, we are going to examine coaching, training, teaching, things of that nature, and boxing. I used a couple of photos, like unfortunately, like I said, I'm time restricted. I couldn't get in everybody that I wanted to in these photos. But as you can see, you see some of the major players in the game: Derrick James, Eddie Reynoso, Buddy McGirt, Ronnie Shields, Robert Garcia, Bo Mack, Kenny Porter, my guy Music CJ. Um, Now let me get to it, right? And I want to say this, right, for coaching. A lot of the best coaches in the game, right? A lot of the best coaches in the game are on the amateur levels. And I'm going to explain why to y'all, right? See, a lot of the best coaches are on the amateur levels, right? But when the fighter turns to the pros, they are stolen from their amateur coach. If you know the game, you know the game. When these fighters sign with these managers and these promotional companies, you have to take who the person who's putting the bag up tells you to take. And a lot of times, a lot of these amateur trainers are left behind. That's why it's always good. Like when it's a father son tandem from the amateurs to the pros, I love that. Especially if the father and son tandem were winning on every level. And I want to say this. That's why I say if you are a champion coach on the amateur level, you are the best. You're one of the best. And the champion level is winning nationals, having your fighter qualify for international tournaments, things of that nature. You are a top tier coach. Never let them take that from you because on the amateur level, winning the nationals and fighting internationally and qualifying for the Olympic teams and the junior national team, that's the equivalent of winning a world title. So for all my amateur coaches out there that have multiple kids that done that and do that, you are the best too. And I just want to highlight you as well. But now let's break down the professional coaches and things of that nature when we talk about the best. And I'm only bringing this up because Derrick James is going to be in action, former trainer of the year. He gets a lot of accolades. Eddie Reynoso, just both his fighters just lost, but he's a former trainer of the year. And I want to say this about both of those guys right now, right? Because they were probably two of the most prominent right now. That when people discuss the best trainers, and it's always Eddie Reynoso, and you hear Derrick James' name mentioned. A lot of media push that narrative, right? And it's well deserved, but it's also you got to look at the whole spectrum, right? And I'm gonna use Derrick James first, right? Derrick James, two unified champions with three belts, right? But they are also two in-house, yes, in-house champions. And now I'm gonna break down what I mean by in-house champions. They fight amongst their own, you know, system, the PBC. They're not like, and I'm gonna use Buddy McGirt now, right? Because I got his picture up here. Buddy McGirt trains fighters that fight on top rank. They fight with PBC. They fight with Matchroom. Are you catching the source? What I'm trying to explain to you? So now, when you have Derrick James, right? Like I said, unified, two unified champions, right? But they're in house. When he did cross the street with Marcus Brown, fought Arthur, destroyed, got destroyed. See, journalists, narrative pushers, they're not taking all of that into perspective. They just, they don't even scratch the surface really. And this is what the source experience is about. You see how I just peeled back a little bit of the surface right there. Hopefully y'all caught that. Like, yeah, he's one of the top trainers over there. Over there, yes. But when, like I just said, when he fought a top ranked fighter with Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown was destroyed, destroyed. And I'm gonna bring this up again, right? I want y'all to catch this source, right? Marcus Brown fought Gene Pascal, right? Gene Pascal beat him at the Barclays Center off a headbutt, dropped him and everything. But I think he was on steroids. But I watched Demetrius Bivol fight a younger Gene Pascal. Destroyed him. Now Marcus Brown is one of the top hitters over there. Was one of the top hitters, former champion, beat Badu Jack. That's why I said, like, when you really think about coaching and styles and training and teaching, you gotta really peel back the layers. Like I said, Robert Garcia, another excellent coach. He coaches in all of, from PBC to top rank to matchroom. So he's covering all the surfaces, right? Same thing with Eddie Reynoso. He came off a loss. It is what it is. But two losses back to back, it happens. It's boxing. But he's covering all the surface, top rank, matchroom. Canelo just beat Caleb Plant, who was a top PBC hitter. So these are the things that you have to take into consideration when you're talking about coaching and teaching. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all are catching the sauce. I see y'all jumping in and out because, like I said, the sauce is the deal, man. Like, these dudes ain't doing it like me. Never have been, never will. They try to copy, they try to emulate, but they're not bringing it like this, right? Now you see Ronnie Shields. I had to throw Ronnie Shields on there because Ronnie Shields, man, Holyfield, Tyson, Pernell Whitaker, the list goes on to now the current. The Charlo brothers. Yes, the Charlo brothers were his fighters. He basically took Jamel, who's fighting for undisputed, to world champion status. I think he got with Derek maybe one or two fights before he became a champion. So we can't take nothing away from Ronnie Shields. You see how he has managed and moved Big Charlo along more. So Ronnie Shields definitely. You see, I got his picture up there. Buddy McGirt as well. Kenny Porter. Now, when I get to Kenny Porter, I want to talk about father-son tandems. I love father-son tandems because, especially when it's father-son tandems from the amateurs up, because when it's a father-son tandem, and what I spoke on earlier when I started this off, it's hard for them to try to separate and bring in their in-house team, you know, because it's the father. You're not going to tell a father who is the trainer, but also the father that raised his kid and did, pretty much everything for his son, that he could no longer be the trainer. You understand? So I love father son tandems. And Kenny Porter, he catches bad flag, but his record speaks for himself, man. He took his son. He has other fighters as well, but his son is a two-time welterweight champion, not one time, two-time. So that's the top of the heat, man. You gotta like call a spade, man. And like I said, I love father son tandems and coaching because there's always going to be that father son bond, and especially when you come up from the amateurs with your dad as your coach. You guys are both learning on the job. Never let them tell you that you need a professional coach. No, your father guided you this far. You can always bring others onto the team. But like I said, if you was a amateur champion, you qualify for international junior national teams, that's the equivalent of being the best in the world. So never let an advisor, a manager, a promoter tell you that your father or your amateur coach is no longer needed. You got to go with another team. Just a little sauce for you. But yes, let's get to my man. You see him right there, Bomac, an excellent trainer. Saul, Coach Red. Um, their accolades speak for itself. Bud Crawford, undisputed at 140, 135-pound champion, now welterweight champion. But also, I know he's no longer working with him, but He took Jamel Herring after Jamel Herring had suffered a loss on the PBC side. He linked up with Bomac. Bomac, Saul, Red, the team. Jamel Herring became a world champion. So that shows you the type of skill levels that team carries. They took a man who some would say was broken. When you lose, you're broken. They all put it together again, and he became a world champion. Yes, a world champion. So I definitely had to throw their picture in there. You know, definitely had to highlight them as well. This is just boxing, coaching, teaching. It's so many I could have did, but like I said, I'm so somewhat time restricted. I'm not at the source desk. So if I didn't throw your picture on here, please don't take it as I'm dissing you or I forgot you, because I want to get Gary Russell's father in here, Gary Senior, one of the top teacher trainers. See, but he doesn't get talked about. But arguably, he's probably one of the best ever too. But they don't talk about that, right? Here is a father who has took all three of his sons, right? They're probably most likely all three of them going to be world champions. Gary already was. Two of them were Olympians. All four of them won the Nationals, Golden Glove National. So this is a man who has taken his sons to the highest of highs in amateur boxing as well as professional boxing. But yet, like I said, yet, you don't hear the praises of him. Why? Because like I said, when it comes to coaching and boxing coaching and commentating and media, people only go with the Hollywood pick, the commercial pick. What I mean by that is if you really not peeling back the layers, like I said earlier, scratching the surfaces, you don't know. You just go with whatever. You go with the norm. You go with the popular pick, the Hollywood pick. So that's why I say you always hear Eddie Reynoso, Derrick James. But look how I just brought up a coach who took all, and that's not the other fighters. He has worked with many other fighters I could run off. But like I said, I'm somewhat time restricted, but I'm still delivering the goods to you, right? But all four of his sons, and now one is following his father's footsteps. Well, they all are following in their father's footsteps because you see Gary works his brother's corners a lot too, but definitely Allen. But all four of his sons were national Golden Glove champions. Two qualified for the Olympics. One was a world champion at the WBC, one of the longest reigning WBC champions. Uh, One of his sons, Antonio, was on the verge of getting a WBA title shot, and his other son, the youngest one, Gary Polo, the Dawn, Antoine, is on the verge of title contention too at 140. But yet, you don't hear the mention of Gary Sr. Why is that? Because the people who narrate and promote boxing stories and content, they don't scratch the surface. They just give you the popular pick, the Hollywood pick. Hopefully, y'all are catching the sauce. Like I said, I'm gonna keep this one under 20 as well today. We are working, but I had to come on and drop some sauce. And you see, I got my brother up there, the Tucker Slime Sauce Master. Look, I had to throw him up there, right? Even though, I'm going to get backlash. Oh, you're biased. No, I'm not biased. I go off of the facts. Here you have another coach, his son right now, 7-0, looking to become 8-0 on the pro level. Fights under the top ranked banner. Got signed at 17 years old. He's been with his father since the amateurs, right? But now he has added his youngest, well, not his youngest, because one more is coming next, but Jamali Tucker just captured a national title at 12 years old. So, yes, he is King Richard sauce right now. If you know what I'm speaking on, you ever watched the King Richard movie and the white man at the tennis tournament when unbeknownst to Richard that Serena had signed up for the tournament too. and she was doing her thing over there in the junior level, and the guy said, "Oh, Richard, you didn't tell me you had two. You got two, Richard?" Because Venus was already dominating, and Serena popped out. Yes, but this is just the Source experience, man. I just wanted to come on and just give y'all a little coaching sauce, man. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, they tell a friend. You've been rocking out with the Sauce Master, man. See, one thing about me is, and I'm always gonna throw this in people's face, right? For all of the door closing, look how many doors are open now, right? And I say that to say this. I say that to say this, right? When God has a calling on your life, and that's why I'm talking about coaching and teaching and all that right now. Because a lot of these guys, God has a calling on their life. That's why they are teaching and breeding champions, from the muck, from the mud. Because when something is in your destiny, as long as you stay on the path and you keep God first, no weapon formed against you is going to prosper. And you are going to achieve greatness. You're going to achieve everything that is supposed to be for you. Hopefully, y'all caught this sauce. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this sauce. Like I said, this was just a quick breakdown on coaching, teaching, and trainers in the boxing game. And I'm going to close what I started with. Some of the best teacher, coach, and trainers are on the amateur level. Their fighters are stolen from them because this is how the game is played. If you know, you know. And when you know, you will grow. Hopefully, y'all caught this sauce and y'all enjoyed this sauce. This has been the sauce experience. You see how we are spicing it up? It is going to be a saucy, spicy summer. A saucy, spicy summer. You know the vibes.
Hey guys, this is Tiana Tuimuhelua. I'm a top ranked knockout, and I want to give a shout out to Sauce Talk Podcast.
Thank you. You know the vibes. Yes, you know the vibes. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and tell a friend.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell.